Hi guys, this is Sai Kumar Kortewada. In this video, we will learn how to inject one service into another service. In my previous video, I have explained how to inject a particular service into a particular component. Here, it's something different. We are injecting one service into another service. So, when we will be using this? Actually speaking, whenever you have a modular approach, then what we'll do is we'll try to create each and every service for a particular reason and for a particular task. So each and every service, like product service, all the product details like adding a product, removing a product, updating the product, all such business logics will maintain one service. And coming to the user, get the user details, get the user token, update the user details or update profile, all this comes under one business logic and we will be maintaining them in one particular service. For example, if you need some utilities provided by one service into another service, then you need to inject one service into another service. So let me show you with an example where we will be creating one custom service and we will be utilizing one more service, that is like router service or activated route service, which are inbuilt services given by Angular. So let me quickly jump into Visual Studio Code to understand how exactly we can experiment this. So here what I'll do is I'll just try to create two components. One is having a sender component and one is the receiver component, and I'll make a routing between them, and then that routing logic I'll be maintaining in my service layer. So that is my example in this video. I'll show you how we can do that. So for that sake, let me create two components first. Ng generate component, and the component name is sender component. I don't want to create this test files, so I'm skipping that test files. Now I created the sender component. Let me create one more component called as receiver component. Ng generate component, and the component name is receiver component, and that should not have test files, so let me skip the test files. So I have created two components and I need one service to navigate from one page to another page. So for that sake, let me create a service called as navigation service. Ng generate service, and the service name is navigation, and I don't want to create any spec files, so skip tests, enter. So you have created a navigation file, and now I need to configure our routings. Already I have explained how this routing works and what are the mechanisms used around the routing. I have explained in complete series. Please watch that for better understanding. So let me go into app routing. So let me go into app routing file, and here what I'll do is just I'll try to utilize our routes, which is having a path, and the path is something like sender, and let me use a component called as sender component. I'm not using any lazy loading over here. Let me use one more path called as receiver path, and the component is receiver component, and let me go into a new path. The new path is empty path, that is default path, and it has to go and navigate to sender, that is redirect to our sender, that is slash sender, and it should match full. That means path should be matched fully. So let me save this. Now whenever I launch this application, directly go into sender component. So let me go here, you can see sender works, and let me check the other route. Let me copy this receiver and just go over here and paste this, hit this. So this is my receiver works. So now my service is something like a reusable method I'll be using in that. Whenever you want to move from one component to another component, then you can use that method only for navigation from sender component to receiver component. So let me go into navigation service. So I need a method to navigate. So I want to navigate to receiver. So this method I'll just use for receiver navigation only. So let me use a method, and this will not return anything. So let me use void. Here what I want to do, I want to navigate. For navigation purpose, we have to inject our inbuilt service, that is nothing but router. So we can either use inject method and we can use constructor as well. First I'll show you with constructor. We are not using router service out of navigation service. That's why let me make it as private, and let me use a router, and the service name is router service. So this is my service. Now I can use this dot router dot navigate, and I want to navigate to something like a receiver. So let me get the path from here. This is my receiver. Let me go here and pass over here and save this. Now what I want to do, I want to make this as a public so that the remaining components who is utilizing this service can call this method. So in this case, let me go into our sender component and let me use inject because already there is no constructor over here. So I'll just create a navigation service which is of type navigation service, and that is equivalent to our inject of navigation service. So let me use navigation service and save this. Now I'll create one method that is nothing but navigate to receiver, or you can use anything. Navigate from sender or not written anything. Let me use void, and this is a method, so let me use a public. So now what I want to do is I want to utilize this service, this dot navigation service dot, there is a method to navigate to receiver. So if you observe, this navigation service is a custom service or user defined service which we have created. And if you see this router is a service which is given by Angular. That means we are injecting one service into another service. One custom service is utilizing one inbuilt service. In the same way, you can inject either a custom service or a predefined service. Whatever you want to utilize, you can utilize over here. So let me go to the browser, and we don't have any action over here. Let me go into our sender.html and let me create a button. So the button is something like navigate to receiver component, and let me use an click event over here, and that click event should call a public method which I have defined in the sender component. Let me copy this navigate from sender, put it over here and call it. Save this. Now let me go into the sender component, and you can see inside the sender we have a button. When I click this button, this navigation should go to receiver. Click this, it went to receiver. It is very simple that we are using this service for reusability. For example, in future you have another component where from that component you have to navigate into receiver component. Then also you can use this navigation service and you can use this navigate to receiver. Like that you can frame your logics in your service and you can reuse them. Here in this video we learned two things. One is injecting one service into another service. Second thing is reusability of a particular service. Hope you like my explanation. If you like my video, like, share, subscribe to my channel for more updates. Signing off. Thank you.